Hi, Claire here from the Unveils and Tudor Society with a little bit of an announcement. Now, I can't believe how quickly this year has gone, and perhaps it's because I'm having so much fun talking Tudor. They do say that time flies when you're having fun, don't they? Well, every year, Tim and I produce the Unveils and Tudor Society calendar. So I'm here today to unveil our 2020 calendar. And here it is in all of its glory. And in this calendar, I share photos of some of my very favourite Tudor-linked places, photos that I actually took as well. So I'm going to go through it and I'm going to show you each page each month. And this calendar is actually just a sample. It's a prototype that we had printed in advance, especially so that we could show you and check it and that. So it's not the high quality that the finished result will be, but it will give you an idea of what the calendar will look like. So I'm going to go through it a month at a time and just show you what pictures that we've got. So, okay. We've got the Tower of London, which just has to go in a Tudor calendar, doesn't it? That's on the front. Then January is Tutbury Castle. Now, this castle acted as a prison for Mary, Queen of Scots on 4 different occasions, I think between 1569 and 1585. Beautiful haunting ruins. So that's one of my very favourite places. February. I'm quite pleased with this photo actually. This is part of Windsor Castle, which is the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world and has been the family home of the British kings and queens for almost 1,000 years. The present Queen Elizabeth II, spends a lot of time there. It's also the burial place. It's got St George's Chapel there, which is the burial place of Henry VIII and of course his third wife, Jane Seymour. So that's that month. March, let's see what we've got for March. Oh yes, the beautiful haunting, romantic ruins of Sudeley Castle with the beautiful climbing roses there. Of course, Sudeley Castle was the home of Henry VIII's final wife, Catherine Parr, when she married Thomas Seymour, who of course was Baron Sudeley. She lived there in the last few months of her life. She gave birth to her little girl, Mary Seymour, there. And Catherine died there as well, and she was laid to rest in the chapel on the grounds. So that's Sudeley Castle. Let's see what we have for April. And actually, this is very fitting because April, of course, being the birth month of the bard William Shakespeare. So we've got Shakespeare's birthplace there, which is in Stratford-upon-Avon. Beautiful Tudor building. Let's see what we've got next. The Tower of London. So the tower and its chapel, that's not St Peter Advincula, I think is it St John's Chapel? Actually within the White Tower. You can now take photographs in there, so that's quite a coup to be able to take photos in there. Of course, the Tower of London, it's got 900 years of history. It's acted as a fortress, prison, royal palace, armoury, royal mint, of course, place of imprisonment and execution, a royal menagerie, jewel house, and of course is the resting place of quite a few prominent Tudor people, such as Anne Boleyn and Lady Jane Grey, Catherine Howard. They're all executed there and laid to rest in the chapel of St Peter Advincula. So that's the Tower. June. My happy place. Hever Castle, which of course is the childhood home of Queen Anne Boleyn and also the home of Queen Anne of Cleves. So my happy place, magical place, I love that. July, to go back that way now, is Hatfield Old Palace. That's the only sort of remaining part of the Hatfield Palace that Queen Elizabeth I would have known. She was at Hatfield under the oak in the grounds when she found out that she was Queen, and she held her very first council meeting, her Council of State, in the banqueting hall there. So very, very important Tudor place. Another place I absolutely love is Penshurst Place, which is home of the Duke of Buckingham, who of course was executed in Henry VIII's reign. Later went on to become the home of the Sidney family, and Elizabeth I was a regular visitor there because Robert Dudley's sister lived there, and so he went there and Elizabeth went there, and they might have danced the Volta at Penshurst. That would be nice to think. September, we've got Shakespeare's Globe. Now, we can't really call this a Tudor place in that it was actually built in the 1980s, 1987, I think, by director Sam Wanamaker. But he built it as a kind of replica, as a memorial to the original Globe Theatre, which was built in 1599 by the Lord Chamberlain's men, William Shakespeare's playing company. So this is Shakespeare's Globe. The original Globe perished in a fire in 1613 during a performance of Henry VIII. So it's not really Tudor, but it's Tudor-linked. It's a replica and it's a fab place to visit. So you'll find that in London. Then what have we got for October? Oh, beautiful, beautiful place. Hampton Court Palace, Cardinal Wolsey's Renaissance Palace, which was acquired, nicked, by King Henry VIII when, he thought that Wolsey had got a better palace than him, really. It was, of course, the birthplace of King Edward VI. Beautiful, beautiful place to visit. November is London Charterhouse. Now, this is often missed by people. It's in London. It was the home of the Carthusian monks who were executed by Henry VIII after they refused to recognise him as supreme head of the church. So it's got that history. Ended up being dissolved, becoming the home of Lord North, Edward Lord North, and then also the home of Thomas Howard, 4th Duke of Norfolk, who of course was involved in a plot with Mary Queen of Scots, was supposed to be marrying Mary Queen of Scots. Came to a rather sticky end. So lots of Tudor history at London Charterhouse. It's a fab place to visit. And the last month, the final month, is another happy place for me, Kenilworth Castle, a medieval castle which went on to be home to Robert Dudley, Earl of Leicester, who did lots of improvements for Queen Elizabeth's visit there. I think she stayed there 19 days, the longest that she spent at a visit to one of her courtiers' homes. In 1575, he built lavish state apartments, a gatehouse. He did pleasure gardens, a privy garden, all sorts for her visit there in 1575. And of course, that was his kind of last-ditch attempt to woo her and get her to marry him. So that is the calendar. And it actually gives you a rundown, like I've just given you a rundown of each place as well. Which go back to the beginning. And the back page has got all of the pictures on it. Now, this calendar will be shipped from here in Spain, because that's where I'm based, but we can ship worldwide. You'll find details on how to order the 2020 Anne Boleyn Files and Tudor Society calendar in the description to go with this talk. We're taking pre-orders at the moment, and those will all be shipped as soon as we receive the calendars back from our local printer. We're having it done locally, so it'll be nice and fast to get to us. So that is our 2020 calendar of beautiful Tudor places. What I didn't point out is there is plenty of room for you to write appointments, birthdays, anniversaries or whatever by the dates. So there you go. I do hope you enjoy it. It'll make a perfect Christmas present. So find out more in the description and there'll be a link for ordering. Thank you. Bye-bye.